Today, we are counting down MzChase's top 5 video games.
Every gamer group is made up of different kinds of players. There's the high-achieving tryhards who like to put on a show, the casual players who are usually just looking for a good time, and the noobs who don't even know if they are playing half the time. But there's also a special player, the heart of the group. That inspiring player who says,
"Never tell me the odds."
My guest today is the heart of our group. I have seen her die countless times at the hands of Dead by Daylight killers. But regardless, she always comes back for more, as if to say,
"'Tis but a scratch."
And just when a killer dares to think,
"Do you guys give up? Have you had enough pain?"
Never!
Now, I bring you the exclusive countdown with my friend, the unsinkable, unkillable, unstoppable, Miss
Chase.
And what a grand pursuit you must be.
So, Miss Chase, what is your fifth pick?
My fifth pick is Zelda: A Link to the Past.
Oh, wow. Let's go.
Right? Yeah, I have to admit, I have not played this game in quite a long time. I've, gotten all the way through it twice, and the third time I got all the way to the end, and I guess I got distracted by probably some other game, and I never finished it a third time, but it's still, it was good enough that I felt compelled to play it 3 times. Play it through 3 times, everything about this game, the graphics are just super cute, and, the characters are chubby, and the way Link just kind of skitters across the screen, he's adorable. I love it. I'm a girl, I like cute things, and this whole game is cute, and the story's fun. It's challenging, and I certainly enjoy a challenge.
Absolutely.
To a point.
Right. Oh, I know you do.
Yes. We'll talk more about that later.
Right.
With other games. But yeah, A Link to the Past is just one of those kind of timeless games that everybody's familiar with, and they either love it or they hate it. There is no liking it. You either love it or you hate it. I happen to love it.
Me too.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine hating a Zelda game. That's crazy to me.
Yeah. And that is the only, another confession here is that's the only Zelda game I've ever played. Because I have.
Once you've climbed Everest, does anything else really matter?
Yeah, that's kind of the way I see it, really. It's not that I think that the other games would diminish my love for Link to the Past. I just have no interest in the other Zelda games because I'm already like this one so much,
right.
Why? I guess why explore it more?
Sure.
And I used to watch the animated series as a kid, which I actually totally forgot about until my better half mentioned it, and I was like, oh yeah, that was a show. I forgot about that. One of those Saturday morning cartoons that didn't live long, but it was still I don't know. It was seeing all my favorite characters, and as, quote unquote, real people, they were animated. But
right. More real than the game. Yeah.
Right. Yes. It's like seeing a whole, looking at their actual life instead of, just being on this super long, arduous quest,
I remember seeing one of those episodes. I never saw the whole series, but I think I saw an episode maybe at a friend's house or something. Mm-hmm. And Zelda was getting Link out of bed early in the morning or something. He didn't want to get up. That's all I remember. That's literally all I remember.
Yeah. I think that actually happens in more than one episode. Just having recently kind of revisited those on YouTube.
Link likes to sleep in.
Link likes to sleep in, and Zelda comes in and wakes him up, and they exchange some sort of argument, and she makes known her disapproval in whatever he says or does, and he hits her with that super famous line, "Well, excuse me, princess." And yeah, somebody actually counted how many times throughout the whole series lifetime, how many times he actually said that, and it's some absurd amount. I can't remember what the number was, but
Like
yeah,
3
that was
figures?
definitely probably. For all the longer the series actually lasted, he said it quite a lot.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, well, it sounds pretty funny. I'd like to watch the rest of it at some point. I saw so much more of the Super Mario Brothers Super Show
Oh gosh.
when I was a kid.
Yes.
Yeah. I wish I could have seen more of Zelda, though, because I was a much bigger fan of Zelda than Mario in general. But I love all those games. But let's get back to Link to the Past, because that game is, not to take anything away from the other Zelda games, but I will say it's certainly my favorite of the Zelda series, of the ones that I've played. And that's a pretty big deal, because I would say that the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time was, in my childhood, easily the most anticipated game of my childhood. Like, the game that I was counting the days till that game came out, and it was totally worth it. And yeah, I was reading everything I could in Nintendo Power about that game, and yeah, it was. Time really went slowly for a few years there.
Yep. Yeah, and that's another thing too. Like, I didn't grow up playing video games. Like, I played computer games. I might talk a little bit more about that later. But of course, nothing to the level of the kind of games, the computer games that we have now. But like, I didn't actually start playing console games until really into my adulthood, like after I had children.
Wow.
Into my adulthood. Yeah, I mean, it just wasn't available to me. Like, I didn't have a console in my home growing up, so if I went to a friend's house and they had an NES or an SNES, which was, I mean, I wanted to go to their house more.
Oh, sure.
Their Nintendo was super,
Right.
But yeah, like, I would go to their houses and we'd play Nintendo for a little while, but I always wanted to play longer than they did because I didn't have that at home.
Right.
So it was always, but we had other things to do, during our sleep or our visit or whatever. So
right.
Yeah, we never got to play for very long, really.
We used to do other things back then. We used to actually
Right?
go outside and touch grass every now and then when we were kids.
Yeah, or go to the laundromat down the street and roller skate around the washing machines.
Right? Yeah. We had a
I might have
skating
gotten in
rink.
trouble for that.
We had a
We
skating
did
rink.
too.
Yeah. But that
Well-
sounds more fun, skating around washing machines, frankly. That sounds like it was more exciting.
Well, it was just closer. It was at the end of the street where my friend lived, so it was just easier to get there
Right.
than it was to go to the skating rink or to the community center where we, every week could skate around the gym.
Well, it's really hard to finish a game like A Link to the Past when you got all these other extracurricular activities to distract you.
Right.
That's a long game.
It is, and it took me forever because whenever I first had access to it in my adulthood, this is, when I first had access to a Nintendo, I had babies, who needed constant attention, constant care, and when they went to bed, it was Nintendo time. It was Zelda time. So, and you can only, being a busy mom of 2 young boys, that I was tired.
Yeah.
I was a very tired lady, and I could only stay up so late and play so much Zelda before I had to, shut it down and finally allow myself to go to bed, or make myself go to bed so I could wake up and do it all over again.
So did you play A Link to the Past on Super Nintendo, or was it on something else?
No, it was on Super Nintendo. Sorry, I think I said NES.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, that's cool. Yeah, I had it on Super Nintendo as well, but I mean, I know it's come out on virtual console since then. Like you can play it on the Switch virtual console now. I think if you're a member of Nintendo Direct, which is pretty cool because you get, you know, all the instant save states. You can just save at any point, which is nice.
Yeah.
For all those older games.
That would be super nice.
Yeah.
Because having to, you know, getting knocked back to your last save point is beyond maddening.
It really is.
well, and now there's the I forget what it's called. That we have one, and I forget what it's called. The Nintendo Classic, the little like almost pocket-sized NES. You can put, you know, Nintendo and Super Nintendo games on it.
Oh, right.
So,
yeah, I have I have the PlayStation version of that. The little PlayStation digital thing. Yeah.
Right.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, same concept, but you can save. You can quit the game at any point and save it up to that point and just start from where you left off. That was, you know, that's a super luxury that we didn't have with like the Super Nintendo or the NES.
Absolutely. So, what are your favorite things about Link to the Past then?
Oh, my favorite things. The rupees.
Yeah.
I like money.
Right?
And yeah. Well, no, honestly, like my favorite part about the game is the map itself.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a completionist, so I have to traverse the whole thing. I can't just, you know, get from point A to point B. I have to look at point A.1, A.2, you know, until I get to B. Like I have to cover the whole map. Plus, I also think that, you know, people put a lot of time into creating this massive map and this super long, complicated game. Like, I want to try to appreciate it as much as I can.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
A lot went into the design of that game. I mean, it's sort of like I had a friend who used to work for Disney, and he was a manager for Disney, like, and worked with on the parks and stuff. And he once told me when he was a kid, he went to Disneyland, and that was, you know, his favorite park. He liked Disneyland more than Disney World, even though it was smaller, because of how it was arranged and how clever the design was, just how much they were able to put into it, I guess. And I've often thought about, when I think about older games like A Link to the Past, yeah, they're much smaller in scope than a lot of the newer stuff, obviously, but they're so well designed, and it just reminds me of how he used to talk about Disneyland. You know, the way that those older games are, some of them, like I think A Link to the Past is the perfect example. It's not the biggest game in the world, but it's big enough, and the way that it was designed was so clever, and it's such a cool story and adventure. And I would actually say I don't know if you could do better for an adventure platformer game than A Link to the Past. It's just great. The combat, the puzzles, everything.
Agreed.
It's just super fun.
Yep. Well, and the dialogue too, like running into different characters and, you know, seeing what they have to say. Like that
was a big world. That was a big world in 1992, I want to say. In 91, maybe, when it came out. I can't remember exactly. I didn't have the Super Nintendo right when it came out. I didn't get mine until a few years later, so I was a little young right when it came out. But it's definitely one of my favorites too. It's a great pick.
Thanks.
Anything else you'd like to add about it before we move on?
No, I think I covered it all.
Yeah, no, I think so too.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
Just super fun. Thanks.
So, what is your fourth pick?
UT99 Unreal Tournament.
Oh yeah.
Game of the Year 1999.
Lock and load. Let's go.
Oh my gosh, yes, lock and load. Oh, what can I say about UT99? That was, I mean, again, because I didn't get into gaming until well into my adulthood, I was even much more of an adult when I was introduced to UT. I had never heard of it until, probably 2017.
Yeah.
And excuse me, I was like, nah, that's really not my thing. Like I didn't I didn't think that I would like a game, like a first-person shooter type of game, just kind of run and gun type deal. But man, you got to try it. Like, don't knock it until you try it, because it is so much fun. And when you die, you just respawn.
Yep.
You're not dead forever.
You're dead for a very short period of time.
Right. And chances are you're going to die often, because that's the whole point of the game.
Yep.
And whenever we play it here at home, we always do deathmatch. So, we're all out to kill each other as many times as possible until somebody gets up to whatever the count is, like 30 kills, frags. Sorry. But yeah, and it took me a long time to actually even be able to play that game. The first time was a little LAN party that we had set up in my house with my boyfriend and our kids, and we were all just in different parts of the house playing together, and I got motion sick because I was playing at full screen, and I hadn't had motion sickness since I was a kid, riding in the car to grandma's and making my parents pull over, all of that. So it came as a complete shock to me. I was like, why can't I play this game? Like, why is it making me feel like this? So I thought that I just wasn't ever going to be able to play the game, but I eventually figured out that if I windowed it, made it smaller, that didn't make me motion sick anymore, and I eventually got used to it, and I could play it more and more. And before, whenever I was the one constantly going down and being fragged, so to speak, now it's not like that anymore. I'm much better at it now. It's a lot more fun.
That's great. Oh, it's great you figured that out. That you can window it and not get sick and still play, because it is a very intense game. It's very fast. The action is super fast, and especially if you got a good computer. Of course, these days that thing will run on a toaster, so anybody could play this game. These first two, anybody could play them, and I'm noticing a pattern here, though. You're picking genre-defining games, I would say.
Yeah. Oh, for real, yeah.
This is not Fortnite, kiddies. This is back when Epic really brought it. And if you haven't played Unreal or Gears of War, you owe it to yourself to go back and play those games, because Epic used to really rock. Then this is that time. Unreal 99 was arguably, to this day, probably the best FPS game of all time. That argument could be made. So
I would.
Excellent pick.
Thank you. Yeah, I would absolutely support that argument, because like even now there are still a ton of servers available to find online, where thousands, millions of people are still playing this game.
Yep. That's not a mistake.
No.
that happens only for a reason. Yep. And a fun story about the Unreal series. I missed Unreal 99, but when I went to college, Unreal 2003 had come out, and they were passing it all around the dorm, right? They had a ripped copy of it. So everybody at my dorm had it, and I went to a computer engineering school, so of course, like, everybody was playing this thing.
Right.
And we had so much fun. That and Max Payne 2 were like the two games that were getting passed around a lot, and both really, really great games. But anyway, Unreal 2004 was in development when I was in school, and my school hosted one of the later beta tests for it. Really, actually, probably closer to an alpha test, because the release was very shortly thereafter. So we got to play basically a complete version of the game before it was released during a LAN party at the computer science department. So anybody on campus could come down to the computer science department that weekend and play any one of the like 30 PCs they had set up in the lab there to test the game. So we were playing the game, and we were reporting any bugs we found that whole weekend. And you could just grab a headset and a keyboard and get right into the next round. It was super fun.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that sounds like a blast. How lucky were you to go to the school that was selected to do that. That's so cool.
It was pretty great. I don't know if they were doing it at other places or not. Epic was a local company, though. They're from Raleigh, North Carolina. So yeah, that's where my school was. So yeah, but anyway, it was. So they were just up the street, and I'm sure that's part of why we were getting to test it. But the other thing that was really cool is that eventually became my personal favorite Unreal game, 2004. And so it was a really cool experience to say, like, I actually got to do some testing on one of my favorite video games of all time. That, as far as FPS games go, that's like tippy top for me.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
very cool experience to have.
Yeah, it's a nice feather in your cap.
But I have to say, you got me into Unreal 99, and I really appreciate that. It was a game that I missed, but it was really fun to go back and play that some, with a million FPS, right, on the monitor. Like, it's super fast. So, like I said, any hardware can run this thing really well for the most part now. And
yeah,
it's just something I would recommend to any younger listeners we have that may have missed the Unreal games. Please go back and play 2004, and if you like that, go back and play 99 as well, because it's totally worth it. You'll get to see the history of how those games came about, and really you'll see a lot of what went into modern FPS games. It goes all the way back to the earlier Unreal games.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And I didn't realize that. I mean, are you telling me that you had never played it before?
No, I had never played 99 before we played it. Yeah. Together.
Oh, well, you could have fooled me, because you were keeping up pretty darn well, and that's impressive. Wow.
I like FPS games. Sometimes I think I do okay. I played a lot of Left 4 Dead, a lot of Unreal 2004 back in the day. So, it's all just muscle memory, right? It's like riding a bike. You get back into it.
Right. Or just like falling off a bike.
Or falling off a bike, yeah. Really, which is really the case with Unreal, because you die as much as you win, at least, usually. So if you're not dying, you're not doing something right.
Right. Right, yeah. If you're not dying, that means you're camping somewhere in a corner, and camping is bad, kids. I mean, that's just game-wide,
Yeah, and I don't mean to be mean to Fortnite or whatever, but it was just a different time.
Oh yeah.
This was back when gaming companies tried new things. They pushed boundaries. Every new game a studio would make, usually they were trying something that hadn't been done before, or they were very much improving on something that had been done before in a significant way. And they weren't just releasing a new skin or a new cosmetic of some kind. Right. And charging you a bunch of money for it to play the same game. So
yes,
this is it was a different time, shall we say?
Yeah. Well, you mentioned the cosmetics. There are so many different skins to pick from. I mean, I always pick like a female soldier, and I can't remember the name of the face that I always pick, but. Yeah, I mean, you can change the color of your outfit, if you pick a human player. If you pick one of the, like, humanoid alien type players, then you're kind of just stuck with whatever they were born looking like.
But they were so they were so different. Right. They were so weird compared to the humans. It was like, if you just picked an alien, you just look cool automatically. Yeah. You didn't need to customize anything.
Yeah.
And not that there's anything, there's nothing wrong with it, right? I mean, I play Dead by Daylight. I buy skins myself, sometimes. I'm not saying it's a bad thing to do. I'm just saying that I feel like a lot of the modern companies have become too dependent on service games for their revenue, and they're not as creative as they used to be. That's all.
Right. Yeah.
So, and to be fair, once you've created A Link to the Past and Unreal 99 and a lot of these types of games, like, were you ever going to eclipse that? Probably not. But, I appreciate a company that tries new things. I appreciate it when they take risks, because that's the only way we get new experiences. Game companies have to try new things.
Agreed.
So, anything
Yeah.
else you want to add about Unreal 99?
No, maybe a little shout out to my stepkids. Not that they'll probably watch this video, but those two, well, three, all three of them, they are all straight up assassins in this game. And like I want to say that they helped me be the character that play UT as well as I do now. Not that I'm at their level by any means. I mean, that's still, I don't know that I'll ever get to be that good, but yeah, they definitely, I did say that I like a challenge. They definitely challenged me to become better.
Nice.
To try to survive at that game, because
Right.
I mean, they could be on the other side of the map 1 second, and then the next second they're behind you, and you hear headshot, but
Blech.
it's not you making the headshot, it's them shooting you in the head.
It's your head getting shot.
It's my head getting shot, yeah. It's like, man, how did you get over here?
Right?
So yeah, shout out to them for helping me, become better at UT99 and really getting to appreciate and enjoy the game like I do.
Well, and kudos to you for continuing to play, right, with such challenging opponents.
Thanks.
I know that's not, you do that in Dead by Daylight too, so just like me, we won't shy away from a challenge, but
no.
yeah, you really have to do it in a game like Unreal when you're starting out, because there's a bit of a learning curve. It's a very fast-paced, aggressive shooter.
Total chaos. Total chaos. And that was another thing that, of course, contributed to the motion sickness that I experienced the first time I played it. Like, there was just so much going on. I didn't know what to focus on. So I was, my eyeballs were all over the place, and, trying to figure out where I am, who is this guy? Is he on my team? I don't know. Oh, I'm dead. Like, that's just kind of how that went. It's not like that anymore. I just shoot at everything that's moving.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, what is your third pick?
Ratchet and Clank.
Oh.
The OG Ratchet and Clank.
The original.
Yes.
For the PlayStation 2, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, tell us about it. I never played this game.
Oh, I can't believe we've been friends this long and you haven't played this game yet. But Ratchet and Clank, the whole franchise is unbelievably fun. I have not played all of the games, but my favorite has always been and will always be the first Ratchet and Clank. Like, I mean, the graphics first, and foremost were super impressive, considering that what I had been used to my whole life, having gone to friends' houses, I had, little experience, but with like the NES, the SNES, and even the Sega Genesis, like the graphics of the PS2 were just, they blew them all out of the water. And the different worlds and stuff, the planets that he travels to, they're all super colorful and pretty. And the characters, like like Ratchet and Clank, the two of them, they're just funny.
Right.
Like their dialogue, like between the two of them, is just very funny. And yeah, like other characters, like oh geez, I'm probably getting the games mixed up now, but like Captain Quark, he's
hilarious.
Definitely, he is hilarious. But yeah, like all of the dialogue in that game is just super funny, makes it super entertaining, and again with the challenge thing, not just being able to move from one planet to another, getting through that one planet and collecting all the things, all the nuts and bolts that you need to collect, the currency, all of that, upgrading weapons, things like that, upgrading your ship, or customizing your ship. That's all very fun, but the achievements that you can earn in Ratchet and Clank are, that's a goal of mine, to earn all of the achievements in Ratchet and Clank, and eventually I did.
They had achievements for the PS2 game?
No, not for the PS2 game. Yeah, see, I told you I'm getting all these games mixed up, but no, I mean the original game is definitely my favorite, but the achievements in oh my gosh, I can't remember which one it was now. Like maybe I can't remember if it was
What is it? All for One? Is that
All
what it's
for
called?
One, maybe,
Yeah.
or it could have been Going Commando. I don't know.
Yeah, there were several for the PS3, right?
Right.
Yeah,
So
I
yeah,
picked
I
up.
apologize. I got that all mixed up.
Yeah, Tylord gave me a PS3 this year, and I picked up Ratchet and Clank All for One at some point. I think from GameStop because they were starting to do the retro games again. And I have Ratchet and Clank the remake for the PS4. I think that's a remake of the original one, right?
Yes. Yeah, and the movie, the Ratchet and Clank movie, is basically that game.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I have that one. I have those two, and I got the Ratchet and Clank game for the PS5, which is fantastic.
I can only imagine.
I've only played it a little bit, like probably the first 2 or 3 hours. I couldn't put it down when I first put it. Yeah, Rift Apart here. I'm taking a look at it now. Yeah, it's fantastic. It might be. I think it has the best animations of any game I've ever played.
Really?
Like, yeah, the transitions between cutscenes and gameplay are completely seamless. Like, you can't tell that the graphics have changed at all. Like, that's how good it looks.
Oh, wow. I mean, that's not surprising. It is the PS5, but still, like, that's...
Yeah.
I'm going to have to look into that. That sounds super impressive.
Like, in terms of a technical achievement, it kind of blew me away. I haven't been that impressed by a game for a technical reason in quite a long time. So, yeah,
wow.
Definitely, if you're into that sort of thing, if you like pretty graphics, you should definitely play Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll have to find somebody with a PS5.
Yes.
So that'll let me play it.
Right.
Or play on it.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure you'll love this game since you're such a big fan of the franchise. But yeah, I started collecting these because of you. You were talking about how cool they were. So I decided I'd start getting them as I found good deals. So, and haven't been disappointed so far. I'm glad I did.
Good. I'm glad I
Yeah.
could help steer you in that direction.
But they're super fun games, right? I mean, they're platformers, platformer action type games. You play the wombat named Ratchet. His little robot buddy Clank is there, to help him out. And like you said, their banter is super funny. And big stories though, right? I mean, like, it's save the universe type stuff from evil, but it's done with very fun characters, right? Animals and funny humanoid type characters. So fairly lighthearted, it's a kid's game, right?
It is.
But
well,
super fun.
Right. It is. I mean, and other than my own kids, I don't know of, any other kids who would, necessarily gravitate toward that game. But yeah, all the people that I know who played Ratchet and Clank or who are into it have been adults, and they all love it.
Right.
Like, once you play it, you just love it. Can't help it.
Yeah,
and yes,
I will play this whole
wrong.
series. Like, I want to play the whole series because I've been
Right.
enjoying this one so much.
Yeah, you do want to play the whole series. I mean, I promise you, every single game is good. They're all somewhat different, all the same concept.
Right.
Save the planet, save the universe, the galaxy, whatever.
Yeah.
But no, they're all different in some way, and the worlds are all different. The enemies all, like, they kind of, from game to game, they kind of just one up each other. They become harder and harder to defeat, and there are some weapons that just aren't effective on them, and you have to make sure that if you want to live, you pick the right weapon to defeat that enemy.
Right.
Like, I mean, just like you do, I guess, with any other game. But yeah, the weapons are a lot of fun. I'm gonna backpedal a little bit back to the achievements. There weren't achievements for the OG Ratchet and Clank per se, but there were golden bolts hidden throughout the entire game that you could find, and I made it like my life's mission to find all of those golden bolts, and I did.
Right. I know you like doing that, collecting the stuff and getting the achievements, because you do that in Dead by Daylight as well.
Oh yes.
The other that just reminded me of Super Mario 64, the stars that you collect in Super Mario 64. Same sort of thing when I was a kid. I was trying to get all of them. I never did. That's one of the things on my bucket list. I would love to go back and who knows, maybe Nintendo. God, they're remaking everything else. Hey Nintendo, if you're listening to this, remake Super Mario 64 at some point, because that is, oh my god, you have no idea what every millennial in the world would go out and buy that immediately.
Yeah.
If we could get that if we could get that on a new Unreal Engine remade, oh wow, that would be amazing.
Please. Yeah.
Yeah.
I never got to play that. I mean, I'm assuming since it's Super Mario 64 that it's for the N64.
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the first 3D Mario. So.
Oh, okay.
And that's why, like, Ratchet and Clank is sort of, it's a kids game, platformer type thing. It's sort of like a Mario game for the PlayStation kind of. I mean, it's totally different, but it's still, kids can play it. It's a platformer. You gotta solve puzzles and things, and it's fun.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I was just never exposed to the Nintendo 64, so I have zero knowledge, zero experience with any of those games, so that's interesting to find out. And yeah, that would absolutely be me. I would have to, I would be one of those people who goes out and buys that game thinking, this is my chance. I can finally redeem myself and get all those stars that I didn't get when I was, a kid.
Right?
Yep.
Exactly.
Life goals.
So eventually, well, have you gotten all the golden bolts or not yet?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Oh yeah, many times over.
Nice. So was that your first PS2 game that you had?
Oh gosh, I couldn't tell you. Probably.
Yeah. I mean, it's the only one I've heard you talk about much, so that's why I was wondering.
Oh. I'm sure there were others. Like my kids played a lot of PS2. Once my now ex-husband and I got a PS3, they inherited the PS2.
Sure.
Well, like Need for Speed, we played some of those. Crash Bandicoot, that was one game that my son and I often played together on the PS2. Mostly, though, I watched him play.
Right.
Rather than participating. But yeah, I mean, Crash Bandicoot was one that we could co-op, so that we had a lot of fun doing that when he was growing up.
That's cool. Oh, that's what I was going to ask. The Ratchet and Clank games, are any of them two-player? Like where you can actually, one person can be Ratchet and one can be Clank?
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
Okay, because it just seems like that would be a really fun, co-op. If
it
that
would.
Possible.
I think All for One. I think All for One might be. No, not All for One. What's the game? There's one with a female character, like a female Lombax.
That's Rift Apart.
Rift Apart. Okay, yeah. Is that one multiplayer?
No, it's just one player. So.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, maybe they'll do it eventually.
Yeah,
anyway,
maybe. But yeah, that's definitely an opportunity that they should seize, because, I mean, put that online and let people play co-op.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Please.
I would do it. I would definitely play with friends. We would play together if it could.
Oh, heck yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. Anything else you want to add about Ratchet and Clank?
Nope. I just love it, and everyone should try it.
Okay. Yeah. No, I totally agree. You can try the new ones or the old ones. They're all really good. So.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So that brings us to we're down to your second pick already, huh?
Number 2. I know. Yeah, we're kind of flying through these.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 2 is Alice Madness Returns.
Yes. Oh, wow. That's so cool.
Yeah. So thank you for introducing me to this incredible game. I don't have a ton of hours in this. I actually just looked recently. I have 92 hours or something like that in this game. And most of that time is spent literally replaying the game so that I can find all of the goodies that I need to find in each level.
You're looking for all of those pig snouts, right?
Yes. Yeah, well, yeah, pig snouts and the jars, like
Yep.
with the notes in them.
Right.
Yeah, I have to have all of that. And I mean, I do now. I got all that done.
Cool.
But yeah, it probably took me a good 40 plus hours of extra gameplay to find all of that stuff.
You know, you get so much more value out of a game if you're a completionist like that, right? Where you really want to collect everything or get all the achievements. You get so many more hours of play out of something like that. I've never really been much of a completionist. There are a few exceptions, but it's definitely... I very much respect people like you who do that, because just thinking about the devs that just, and the designers who figured out how to place all that stuff in the game, or the puzzles you had to solve to find all of it and stuff, you actually experience all of that. Like, they actually, their work gets noticed because of people like you. I'm lazy. I beat the game, and it's like I got a massive backlog. I can't be lingering too long on any particular game, or I'd never finish them.
Right.
So I'm never going to finish them anyway. Let's be honest. But
right, and that's fair.
Yeah, but I'm realistic about it. I've got to stay on task. It's got to be a really, really great game for me to do any sort of completionist. I'll never 100% another game, probably, because games are too big these days. But
they really are.
I definitely, like I said, I respect it. I did try to do that with the Batman Arkham games. There was one of them, I think it was Arkham City or Arkham Knight, where I went through it and I tried to find all the Riddler trophies. Because they get progressively harder and harder to find. You got to solve these crazy puzzles and stuff to find them. You see much more of the city and the world. It's fantastic the way they designed it. If you like Batman, you definitely need to play the Arkham games at some point.
Yeah, I do like Batman, but I've never played any of the Batman games except Lego Batman.
Oh boy, well, Lego Batman's great too. I love that one as well.
Yeah.
Very different game, but yeah,
yes.
That's an awesome series too. I love the Lego games, because I loved Legos when I was a kid, and the Lego games are kind of like celebrating all of that licensed content that we never got when I was a kid. I would have loved Star Wars Legos and Batman Legos.
Oh.
I can't even tell you. I would have begged my parents to buy me that stuff when I was a kid. That would have been unbelievable.
Yeah, I had Legos as a kid. Well, no, I'm going to correct myself. My brother had Legos when we were kids, and he's 7 years older than me.
Sure.
So when he went off to college and stuff, I was still young enough to enjoy playing with Legos, and we had this big, oh my gosh, probably, the box that this set was in was like 4 feet wide, probably, 18 inches.
Wow.
Or, 4 feet long, like 18 inches wide.
Yeah.
So it had, all these little plastic compartments with just the different colored blocks that you could build buildings with. Like, they were just general Legos. We never had any of the fancy license sets or anything like that.
But you can do so much even with the general Legos, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I had some of the, I had space Legos and pirates and things like that, but it was, I don't think they were licensing anything yet. When I was a kid, but it was like just those theme sets, castles, knights and castles, and stuff like that. And so I had this mix of things, and I would build different stuff with it. But yeah, pirates were really cool.
Yeah. Did they come with the little sharks with those like illegally sharp fins?
Oh yeah,
on the top.
Yeah, they had those.
So stepping on one of those was worse than stepping on a regular Lego.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the Legos were painful on the floor.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's like what I wish on my worst enemy, or someone scorns me, I'm like, oh, I hope you step on a Lego.
Oh, that's evil.
Worse.
That's really
evil.
It
is. I know. I know. That's just how I roll.
Well, let's bring it back to Alice here, because this is a very unique pick. I think a lot of people probably aren't even familiar with this game. So, what can you tell us about Alice Madness Returns?
Well, Alice Madness Returns is the sequel to American McGee's Alice, which, hats off to American McGee's Alice. That is also a fantastic game. You don't have to start with one to, the first one to appreciate the sequel. I mean, I didn't even know about American McGee's Alice until you introduced me to Madness Returns.
Right.
But it's this, super dark and sinister take on Alice in Wonderland. It's still the same story, but it's, a much more morbid side to the story. I'm not going to get into the villain because that's going to give too much away. You have to play the game to find that out. But yeah, like it all kind of starts with her having memories or dreams about her nightmares, more like not dreams, of her house burning to the ground with her family in it, and she somehow escapes and ends up in a mental institution, and that's how she eventually discovers Wonderland. Well, no, I guess she already knew about Wonderland first, but she was committed, and then was being summoned by the White Rabbit to go save Wonderland again. And that's what this game is. It's your adventure going through Wonderland, trying to save it. And you have to do all these little things along the way, like shoot these floating snorting pig snouts with your little pepper gun, your peppermill gun.
Yep. Get a pepper grinder for a machine gun.
Grinder. Yep. Yeah. Pretty cool. And you upgrade your weapons. My favorite weapon though has got to be that Vorpal blade.
Mm-hmm.
It's simple but it is so wicked. Oh,
it's beautifully
she can do so
animated.
much. It is. Yeah, that's another thing about this game. Like the graphics are incredible. The artwork is just super engaging. Like there were times that I would almost sacrifice myself because I would just, pan around with the camera just to look at this artwork. Like it's absolutely breathtaking.
It is.
It really is.
And the different sections of Wonderland that you explore are so unique. They're different from each other, and this is such you obviously like platformers a lot, picking this and Ratchet and Clank.
Right.
And this is one that I think is arguably one of the best platformers ever made, and it's a sleeper. It's one that you would have missed if you weren't paying attention, right? Like this is not a very common pick, and now it's considered a cult classic on the PS3 and the 360, of course, but it was never probably as popular as Mario or a lot of the other platforming games. So,
right. Well, like I said, I had never heard of it. I had never heard of either of the Alice games until you introduced me to Madness Returns.
Yep.
And now I have both games, and I mean, American McGee's Alice is ridiculously hard. At least for me.
I didn't make it very far. I tried playing it for like half an hour once, and I kept dying.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I've played quite a lot more than 30 minutes, but I get to this one point and I die, and I made it. I don't think I told you I made it past that one point fairly recently. Yes, but then I died again, and my last save point was before that point.
No.
Yeah, so I was like, no, I'm done. I'm never touching this game again, but I will. I'll get back to this battle.
It's so demoralizing
really
when that happens.
Yeah, I know. It makes you question all of your life choices.
Yep. Why did I become a gamer? Oh.
I know. Why do I do this to myself? Yeah, you have to be a little bit of a masochist to be a gamer, to keep coming back over and over and over again.
Yep.
But, I mean, I say that. Either that or you just, really enjoy the game no matter what the outcome is.
Right. I think most of us learned that from Mario, though. Dying over and over playing Mario when we were kids.
Amen.
I know that wasn't your direct exact experience, but a lot of us, I think, that was how we learned about death. A lot of us.
Right. No, and I did. When I would go to my friends' houses, that was the game that we would play. Whether it was Super Mario Brothers or Super Mario 3.
Right.
Those were usually the two, or Duck Hunt. I like to use the light gun.
Right.
I was terrible at it, but I still enjoyed Duck Hunt, but yeah, I did have some exposure to Super Mario Brothers, and yes, the madness that ensued after trying to play that game is very, very real.
Yep. And it goes all the way up to modern gaming and certainly the Alice games as well.
Yeah, well,
so.
yeah, and one other thing about Alice, you mentioned how the worlds are all so different.
Yep.
I love that her outfits are coordinated to each level.
Yes.
And they're all so super cool. Like, I want every single one of her dresses. I mean, just so I can wear them every once in a while, like, wear them, go out and shovel snow or something. So, somebody can see me wearing this dress, because I don't know when else I would wear it.
The design on her dresses they're fantastic. It's excellent for that.
Yeah.
Those are unlockables, actually. Talking about being a completionist and stuff, that is a game I would definitely go back to and try to unlock everything in, because it'd be so fun. And also you get different powers with each dress. So you get all these different modifiers. Some of them make the game easier, some of them make the game harder. So it's all just about, what you want to experience, how much of a challenge you desire.
Right. Yeah, and an outfit that we don't see unless you choose to use this power is her white and red dress whenever she is in hysteria mode.
Yes.
I mean, oh my gosh. And that's
so cool.
Like, if you thought that while you were playing the game, if you think she is badass as is, putting her into hysteria mode, just, oh my gosh, like, it'll blow your mind. Like, she is an assassin whenever she is in hysteria mode, and it doesn't last for very long, but it doesn't have to. Like, it really packs a wall up on the enemies, and it's just so fun to play in that mode. And as soon as you hit that button, you hear her do that scream, that actual, like, insane girl scream, and she just goes berserk.
And you unlock hysteria mode by when you get your health down really low, right? You can select it as an option. Is that how it works?
Yes.
Yeah. And then you get X amount of time where all of your damage is up, right? You do more damage.
Yep.
Yeah. To try to survive. And sometimes you can really pull a comeback with that mode.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I have several times.
Yeah, it's exciting.
I mean, it is exciting. And, that's one of the things that, just really kept me coming back to the game. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to try this in hysteria mode next time. And we'll see how that guy fares.
Let's talk about the voice acting in this game, because I think it's just top notch. I think it's excellent. What did you think about it?
Specifically the Cheshire Cat.
Oh, yeah. The Cheshire Cat's fantastic.
He really is.
So sinister.
Yes, so sinister, and he sounds like he almost sounds like he's out to get Alice.
Oh, yeah.
But he's not. Like, he helps her throughout the game, but he's also kind of a jerk to her.
Yeah, he's constantly trying to push her buttons, I think.
Yes.
And really... And, it's interesting because Alice Madness Returns is like a nightmare version of Alice in Wonderland. Kind of. So even the Cheshire Cat in Alice in Wonderland is kind of a jerk, right?
He is.
The way that he acts and how he sort of plays games with Alice and stuff. And in this, it's like that, only it's more sinister. He's more severe about everything. It's just a darker story.
Yeah.
So the voice actor they got to do that is fantastic. I think the voice actor for Alice is great as well.
Yes. She is. She's excellent.
And what else? I wanted to make sure I mentioned. You mentioned the Vorpal Blade. I wanted to say I think that the Vorpal Blade is the best melee weapon in any video game ever.
That's a knife.
And just how much fun it is to use. Like, there's not a game, in my opinion, that I've played that has more fun melee combat than Alice Madness Returns. Which,
right.
And everybody listening to this would be like, what's that game? I've never heard of that before.
Yeah. But, go look for it, find it, play it. You'll love it, I promise.
Seriously, you can play this game on Steam. It goes on sale for like $2. You know, it's extremely money well spent. Same thing on the PlayStation, the Xbox stores. You can find it super. I've got it on like 3 different platforms because I love it so much. I'd love to get a physical copy at some point. That's one I'd really love to collect.
I think we just found a physical copy of it on eBay for like $180.
Yeah, we did.
And
recently.
I was like, oh yeah, that was you. That's right.
I sent it to you.
Yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh, worth it.
right. No, I think it could be. You can get the Japanese version a lot cheaper, but to find a US version, it's like it can be pretty expensive. Now, I'm hoping that might change for the collectors out there because, you know, we got GameStop apparently getting more into the retro game scene again, so I'm hoping that might affect the market in a positive way for collectors. Who knows if that'll happen or not? Only time will tell. But, you know, sometimes they do sales, like they just had a 2-for-1 sale on pre-owned games, and I was looking at Madness Returns. They had a copy of it. But
you touched it.
I did for a second, and it was gone before I could get it, but because they only had one copy. But it was $37, so you know that would have been totally worth it if it was CIB, right? But of course, when you're ordering online with GameStop, you never know if you're going to get the case, the manual, all that stuff. So it's a bit of a risk.
Yeah, that's true.
But nonetheless, you know, it's still better probably than trying to pay $200.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So,
yeah.
But it's a game that if you haven't played it, look, you can play it for $2, right? If you play digital, totally worth it. I think it's on Game Pass right now, actually, or it was the last time I looked. So if you got Game Pass, you can play it right now.
Golden, yeah. Oh my gosh.
So, and I know we're talking this up a lot, but we're doing that in part because this is just a lesser known title. Again, it's something, if you weren't really paying attention to the platforming scene, you know, over 10 years ago when it came out, you missed it. So,
well, and one thing that I really appreciated, like you said, the Vorpal Blade was, you know, the best melee weapon in any game.
Yeah.
Like Ratchet's wrench that he uses, like the mechanics for the wrench are exactly the same as those for the Vorpal Blade. So, like, I mean, that was like second nature, you know, using the Vorpal Blade, and that's how I was able to get through the whole game so fast. Like, yeah, sure, I died and stuff enough, you know, but, you know, I had to pick myself back up again and, you know, play it through, and then, you know, I probably did finish this game in less than 40 hours, just because I went hard on this game, you know, a bunch of late nights and yeah.
Well, I remember you were playing that a lot instead of DBD at the time. I remember because I would see you on playing it. It is because you're usually playing DBD. So
I know.
Yeah, that might lead us into your next pick, unless there's anything else you want to talk about Alice, right?
No, I don't think so. It's just great game. 10 out of 10. Recommend.
Right. It's a game also, like, if you've played stuff like Star Wars, more recent things like Jedi Fallen Order, if you've played stuff like even maybe God of War to a lesser extent, but, you know, third-person action adventure games with a lot of melee combat and platforming where you got to solve puzzles and climb things and stuff like that. Oh, you can change your size. Alice drinks a potion and she can shrink really small to go through holes, you know. And
you have to navigate some areas of the maps.
You got to do that stuff. Yeah, if you like those kinds of games, definitely check it out. You're not going to be disappointed.
No.
So
and I never really thought about God of War. Like, I mean, you're absolutely right. Like, the gameplay is... I can see the similarities. But yeah, if you like God of War...
The combat is somewhat similar in a way.
Right.
Now, God of War is, of course, like, almost exclusively melee. I guess that would be kind of the difference here. Like, I mean, Alice does get guns. So it's a little different. But, yeah. No, if you like games like that, just 3D platformers with great art direction, you're probably going to really love this game. So, yeah. All right. So, we've come to the moment at last. What is your number one pick?
Dead by Daylight.
I'd like to say that I was surprised, but I'm really not at all.
No.
Because I've played this game with you a lot, and I've seen how many hours you put into this game when I'm not playing.
Yeah, I have over 2,000 hours in this game for good reason. Like, it's just an incredible game, and I've made a ton of friends, including you, playing this game. And just by not being a jerk in endgame chat.
Right, which we did meet because you murdered me, probably. I was a survivor and you were a killer.
Yep.
So, yeah. And oftentimes...
But I was nice to you in endgame.
Yes, but that's my point. A lot of times that's not how it goes in endgame chat on PC, right? People are talk a lot of trash in endgame chat. So, but yeah, no, it's... Dead by Daylight sort of became my social life during COVID, right? I was introduced to that game by Outdoors Embrace, another friend of mine who I did another top 5 review with. We did his 5 favorite games in his van. You can go check out that video on the channel if you're interested. It was a really fun video. And he got me into the game, and I met you, and I met Vix there as well. Vix picked this as her, I think it was her number 3 game in our last episode, and but you're picking it as your number 1, so that's your love for it is even greater than Vix's, which is kind of amazing.
Well, in Vix, like I couldn't ask for a better teammates than you and Vix playing this game. Like, the 3 of us work so well together, and of course you and I rely on Vix to carry us.
Oh yeah.
This game,
absolutely.
like she has to loop the killer while we're doing gens and stuff like that, healing everybody else or saving other people. But yeah, you guys are just, I'm just so glad that I met you two. I mean, I'm glad to play the game, of course, but meeting you two was definitely one of the highlights.
I think that's the magical part of this type of game, where you have an open lobby in a multiplayer game. You can make new friends in other parts of the world that you would have never met otherwise. Right. But I cut you off.
Sure.
What were you going to say?
No, that's fine. I was kind of stumbling over my words anyway, but yeah, like, I've met a lot of people playing DBD, but whether I played as killer or survivor, doesn't really matter. Like, as long as I'm a courteous killer, I could get a 4K as a killer, and I'll be like, good game, good luck next game. I'm sorry I tunneled you. I didn't mean to. Not my fault that you and the other Michaela were wearing the same outfit. I couldn't tell the difference between the two of you.
Which does happen more often than you would think if you don't play the game.
It does, yeah. Like, you'll get I got a group of Steves once. They were all Sailor Steves, and I was like, oh, come on. Like, I mean, they were also Screamer Steves, so they kept screaming.
Oh, wow.
Everywhere. Yeah, I think they all must have been running like Plot Twist or something. Or not Plot Twist, the other Nick Cage perk where you like do a little hustle and you scream, give away your location, and then you suffer like exhausted or exposed, or you gain something good. You benefit from it. It could go one of 4 or 5 different ways with that perk, but yeah, they all kept making themselves scream.
This is the other great thing about the game, is the perk system, right? Where you have so many different perks now. I mean, is it more than 100? Probably is now.
Probably.
You have like 100 different perks plus that you can pick, and you can pick 4 perks per round, and the combinations are essentially endless. The strategies that you can do with the game, once you get into it, start diving deeper, you'll find out a way to play that works for you really well. You'll do that for a while, and then they'll change something about the game mechanics. They'll introduce a new perk, a new killer, a new map of some kind, and now all of a sudden your method that you perfected doesn't work at all. And it forces you to do something completely different. You will be very angry about that when that happens, but it will make you a better player. because you'll learn more about the perks.
Right. Well, and there are some perks that work super well with others, and I didn't really learn that until probably like after having 1,000 hours in the game, and I'm still trying to find that perfect build that works well for me. Like lately, well, and there are certain builds like for certain things that you want to do, like if again, the challenges that I face playing this game, like the daily rituals, the achievements, the Steam achievements that you can earn. I'm sure there are certain perks that help to earn those achievements and complete those daily rituals faster. But I certainly haven't really figured that out yet. Like if you have a daily achievement to heal so many health states or something like that, heal another survivor for so many health states, you can run like Will Make It, which helps you unhook the survivor faster and increases your healing speed. And running that with Solidarity, which is a Jane Romero perk. Excuse me. If you unhook that survivor while you are injured, Solidarity helps to heal you while you heal them.
Oh yeah, very cool perk.
Yeah, and you run that with there's a Jill perk where whenever you are unhooked, you are still injured, but you already have some healing progression.
Right,
like you get unhooked and you're already automatically healed so far. If you run that and then go unhook somebody else, you've got speedy healing, speedy unhooking, and you heal yourself to completion, while you heal the other survivor.
Sure. And then there's stuff like inner healing, the Nancy perk, where you can, if you cleanse a totem, which is a little skull on the map, you can just cleanse it. Basically what you're doing is breaking it. And when you do that, you can then go into a locker with inner healing and heal yourself a health state in like 10 seconds, which is, I love doing that because I think it's just a fun way to be able to heal yourself really fast. So,
but I don't advise hiding in lockers in this game. Little inside joke.
Right. You must be a noob if you use lockers in DBD.
Right.
My whole build was built around lockers basically
Locker
at the
perks,
time. But we had a rando make that comment in our little open room we were in, and we both laughed about it because he was not very good. And he was
telling us how to play the game.
Yeah, he was trying to make fun of me for running a locker build that was actually quite effective.
Yes.
So anyway, you meet all sorts in this game. That's the other thing when you play any game like DBD with open lobbies, you're gonna meet all kinds of people. Yes, you'll have some bad experiences, but the good experiences will more than make up for it, hopefully.
Oh my, yeah.
As I think they have for us, as part of why we keep playing the game. And it's the game that, it's like the gift that keeps on giving, right? There's always something new going on. There's always some new killer, survivor, perk, something changing. Behavior does such a good job of updating the game, keeping it going. For as much trash as we talk about the devs at times because they do stuff that makes us mad when they change our favorite perks or take something away that we really like, you gotta give it to them for just the amount of content they give to the players, optionally for free. You don't even have to buy it. If you just play the game, even if you just play the base game, you get to play all the maps. You get exposure to all of the perks eventually. So you can purchase perks in the Shrine of Secrets. You don't have to actually buy all the characters if you don't want to. So there's ways around it. So it's a very cool game, very cool community that are into Dead by Daylight. I'm so happy I got into it and I'm a part of it and met you and Vix doing it, and some of our other friends too, who I hope will be on the show eventually as well. So
same.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so that
Anything
don't have
else?
DVD.
Yeah. Well, we should mention, I guess, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a newer game that came out a few years ago. I guess has it been 2 years now? I guess. Has it been 2 years? Probably.
Have to have been. Yeah.
Anyway, time hasn't really been. I don't really get time anymore. It just sort of flies by.
Right.
Anyway, this is a game I would highly recommend if you are a Dead by Daylight player and you want to try something a little new. I would recommend Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's quite different, but it's similar enough that with a little bit of practice, you're going to be doing well pretty quickly.
Yeah, I actually got Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I played it 1 or 2 times, and I only played it once, and somehow I won the game. I don't know how.
That would never happen in DBD.
No,
if you
never,
just
ever.
happen to play it once, yeah, you're not gonna win.
No, and I don't even know how I did it because I was stuck in the basement. Like I got lost in the basement for like 5 minutes. I couldn't find my way out. So I literally did nothing, but
That's part of how you survive in Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
evidently, that's the key, kids. You hide in the basement and get lost in it.
Yep.
No, but I need to pull some friends together to play TCM with me so that I can figure out how to play it and win on purpose.
Oh, it's super fun, especially if you're a fan of the franchise. You're really gonna appreciate this game. I think there's a lot of different skins. All the main killers from the movies are in there, at least the early ones. And it's another one where they're constantly adding new stuff. They're adding new survivors, new killers. They probably have a new map since I've played. I haven't played it in quite a while, but that's another one. These games are cheap now. You can get DBD for like $8. You can get TCM for 10 in Steam sales. So.
Oh, nice! I didn't know that.
Yeah, I just picked it up in the last Steam sale, so I could have it on the PC, not have to play on Game Pass, because I think it left Game Pass a while ago. So. Yeah, I'm gonna be total new build when we play TCM again. So I'm gonna need you guys to carry me. Get some points so I can upgrade my killers. That's the other fun thing about it. You can play killer with your friends in TCM, which is really fun. You can have 3.
Yeah.
You can have 3 killers per round. So just imagine. For me, playing TCM is a little like if I get really tired of dying in Dead by Daylight, I'll go be a killer in TCM for a while and just really work out some of that pent up aggression and anger.
Right. Right. Well, and that's why I play killer a lot in DBD. Especially if I don't have any friends online, who are not in full parties or whatever. That I could play as survivor with, and actually work as a team.
Right.
And and know without a doubt that my teammate is competent.
but that's the other thing. You're actually good at killer in Dead by Daylight. I am mediocre at best. So, you have that option. For me, there's a big learning curve.
Right.
I wanted to be a killer.
You just watched me play as nurse the other night, and I was like prepared to not be amazed, and I got the 4K. Like I didn't expect that.
I think you're just naturally
really
a better
didn't.
killer than I am. I don't know. That was impressive in that nurse round, because nurse is a hard killer to learn. From what
She
I've
is, and
heard.
I will admit that was one of my better nurse matches. But yeah, I mean, normally I'm a huntress main through and through. I love my huntress.
Right.
And as Vix mentioned in her video, my survivor main is Yui. I love her. I have this little metal placard of her above my PC.
Oh, that's cool. You'll have to send me a photo of it.
Cool.
I'll put it in the video if you if you send me a photo of the plaque. Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that.
Since this is your favorite game and all, and you is your favorite character.
She is. But yeah, well, and oh man, is she my favorite character, or is the huntress my favorite character? Like, I mean, favorite survivor, favorite killer for sure, but I don't know if I can pick one over the other, like, to be the ultimate favorite.
Well, it makes sense. It's your favorite game. You appreciate both sides of it.
I do.
So.
I do. But
and
if
they're so
like
different too. That's the other wild thing about DBD. I mean, you play killer in first person, you play survivor in third person. They're totally different experiences.
Yeah. Well, in killer, like if I'm having a really bad day, or if I need to let off some steam, that's what I need. I need some DBD healing, and
Right.
play a couple of killer matches, and throw a bunch of hatchets at people, and then good feelings ensue.
Can be so
Like I
therapeutic.
feel
Play the
it
right
really
video
can.
game. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that, I mean, of course, that's not just relative to DVD. Like you said, any video game, there's a certain level of therapy,
Yeah.
that comes from playing video games. That just makes you feel better.
That's
I
right.
guess.
Absolutely. Well, that is an awesome number one pick. I really respect that. Obviously, I have more hours in that game probably than any other game by far. So it's definitely the game I've played the most, I would say, over the years.
Oh yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and every round is different. That's the other thing that's pretty magical about it. The rules stay the same until they change.
You're right. Yeah.
But you're gonna have a different round every time. And different players you're going against. So.
Yep. Or playing with. Sometimes you end up with a team that is super cooperative, and they work together really well, whether in comms or not. Of course, in comms is a lot easier because you can tell each other what you're doing to benefit the rest of the team. But then there are some other players who just refuse to actually play the game. They have their own agenda, whether they have to open so many chests or whatever it is, and or cleanse so many totems. So that's what they do throughout the whole match. They just do that, and they don't touch a generator. They don't save anybody. They don't help heal anybody. They hide from the killer. Those are people who actually, once they do actually get found by the killer and get hooked, they stay on that hook for all 3 hook states.
No one's gonna save them.
No, nobody will save you. Don't be a jerk. If you're gonna play the game, play the game.
That's right. You never know what you're gonna get in an open lobby.
Right.
So, wow. Thank you so much for doing the list with me. Is there anything you'd like to add about any of these games that we forgot to mention?
I don't think so. I'll probably think of something, I'm sure, while after we end the call. But
right.
No, some honorable mention.
Yeah, sure.
There's some games that deserve honorable mention. I think I already mentioned American McGee's Alice.
Right.
Fabulous game. Diabolical is another fun one that's kind of like UT.
Okay.
But it's with super cute, chubby robots.
Okay.
Yeah, my stepsons also played that with me, and one of them, I don't know how he did it, but he chucked me so far into the ocean. He's like, hey, just stay still for a minute, okay? I said, okay. And next thing I know, I'm careening across the map and into oblivion. I was like, how did you even do that? I don't think he even expected that to happen. But
that's hilarious.
Yeah, it's just a fun game, just to play around. You don't even have to meet the goal. I don't think we ever did. I don't think we ever actually played a round of Diabolical that we actually met whatever our goal was. But yeah, that's another super fun one. Another one, well, two really, are the Ori games. Ori and the Blind Forest was, I have a ton of hours in that game too. It's just beautiful, and the theme song that plays throughout the whole game, I actually had dreams with that song in my head.
Oh, wow.
I don't know, it's just eerie and beautiful, and I don't know, it just sticks with me. I guess. But
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's a super fun game. Again, incredible graphics, sad but very good storyline. So yeah, that one was another one that I'm actually kind of surprised that it didn't make my top 5 because I really enjoyed that game so much. But
well, that's the bad thing about the show. You do have to make sacrifices.
I know.
But you can always change your list and come back later for another
Right.
episode.
My other top 5.
Right?
Right.
So,
Yeah, and the Little Nightmares games too were
you
a
mentioned
lot
those.
of fun to play. Yeah.
I want to try
like,
those.
You should. Yeah, they're super fun. And as you know, me being a person who doesn't like horror movies,
You sure
I
seem to be
surprisingly-
attracted to a lot of horror media.
I know. I don't understand it. I can't explain it, but
I mean,
Yeah,
even
for somebody who-
Alice isn't necessarily
Yeah.
a horror game, but it is a dark game.
it
So,
really is.
It's
yeah,
creepy.
it's very creepy. You know, some levels more than others, like the dollhouse level.
Oh,
Yeah, just because it's creepy dolls. You know, who likes a
Right.
creepy doll?
The evil
Nobody.
kid from Toy Story, that's who.
Yeah,
The one
Yeah,
that
Sid.
tortured all his toys.
yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's that guy. He likes them, but yeah, nobody else does. But yeah, that
You don't want to be
That's
stuck
definitely
in an
super
elevator
creepy.
with that kid.
no, not alone anyway. But no, I think that's it.
Cool. Well, excellent picks again. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode, and I hope everyone enjoyed the show. Anything else you'd like to add, or are we good?
No, I think we're good. Thank you everybody for watching and listening, and I hope you give some of these games a try if you've never played any of them.
Awesome.
They're all well worth a shot.
Yes, couldn't agree more. Have a great day, everybody.
Yep.
It is exceedingly rare for a song cover or remix to approach the peak of an original composition. To surpass it is nearly unheard of, yet that is what Nigel Simmons accomplishes with Seal of Seven Sages, an epic remix of classic Zelda tunes that took me straight back to Hyrule. Enjoy.